To do this mass gesture drawing, basically what I'm going to, with two colors, I'm going to use complements. I'm going to use my blue and my orange. I'm going to use my blue as my main color. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with the gesture. So looking at my image of the figure, I'm going to create a quick gesture line, right? Where I just basically kind of draw in the basic gesture of the figure, okay? I'm not really messing around too much with getting too many details in there. I'm just basically trying to get the things that are important to convey this pose. Now notice I started with the head here, but because I started going through, I realized that I had put the head way too close in, so I'm gonna wind up cropping it out. That's fine. It's better to do that. Okay, so now from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually fill in some of this space. Now to do that, what I'm going to do, and some of you may actually not like this, and that's fine if you don't like it, okay? I'm actually going to peel off my oil pastel, and I'm gonna break off a small part off the back of it. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is because I just did a gesture line, but now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna come in here and actually add in a few more mass. So I'm paying attention to where those shadows are, where those dark areas are, and I'm using the side of the oil pastel to draw that in, okay? To draw in those basic shapes and those basic dark values. But I'm also coming in here with some of the lighter ones and using a little bit less pressure just to kind of create a little bit of a lighter value. You see that? That's what I'm trying to do right in there. So I'm using the side of my pastel to do this. So this is creating larger mass-like shapes, right? And I'm making some adjustments to my gesture drawing as I go. Okay, so wherever I had some things that weren't necessarily right with my gesture drawing, I'm adjusting them, okay? I come in here, some of my proportions are off, that's fine. I'm fine with that. Notice how here, going a little bit darker with this, I start to create a few more folds in here, and I come up in here. Now, from here, I'm gonna be adding in my orange, okay? Now my orange is actually going to be adding in a little bit more of my values and creating a little bit more contrast and a little bit more details, okay? So I'm kind of getting this in here, right? So not perfect right now, that's fine. For your first one, it shouldn't be perfect, okay? So I've got some mass in here. You can definitely see the pose. Yeah, I cropped off his head, whatever, I'll live. Now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna do the same thing with my orange. I'm gonna peel off a little bit. I'm gonna do it from the back, and I'm going to break off a small piece, okay? You know, some of you are triggered by that. You know what, that's fine. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come in here to some of the really darker areas with my orange. And I'm going, so complements, right? So I'm gonna come in here into it, and I'm going to add in some more of those details in here, okay? I'm gonna be really pushing it into there so that way I could actually get a little bit more definition. I could actually start to get a little bit more shadow into there. This is gonna give me a little bit more detail, okay? And I'm really trying to pay attention to where these shadows are, where they actually get a lot darker, okay? Coming up in here, I'm gonna get some of those wrinkles that they come in here as they come across in here, okay? See that? Coming around in here and here. Start to get some of those more wrinkles in there. And I'm having some fun with it, okay? As my first one, it's not gonna be great. That's not the point. It's not to make it great. The point is we're developing some skills in terms of being able to identify where we have some lights and some darks, being able to identify and create some sense of volume and mass in the conveyance of an action in a pose. Okay, it isn't necessarily, again, to get it perfect. No, that's not about that. If you notice, mine isn't perfect. Okay, I'm okay with that. I have to be okay with it because I'm learning here. I'm practicing. Got it? All right, so there's one down. Okay, if you want to do a little bit more to it, you could always add a little bit more of the blue right up on top of it, just to kind of make that even darker. Okay, where you feel it needs to get a little bit darker. All right, and so that's one. You can kind of get the the sense of the pose, right? It's not meant to be perfect yet. All right, as we do more of these, we will get better. Got it? All right, so let's have some fun with these.